Hi, I'm attorney Gregory Dell, and today I want to talk to you about disability insurance claims for physicians, surgeons, and other medical professionals that are considering filing a claim for long-term disability insurance or are already on claim, or their claim has been denied and they're having difficulty collecting benefits. Now, our law firm has represented hundreds of doctors across the country in their pursuit for long-term disability insurance benefits, and we have been successful in helping these claimants to obtain their disability benefits. Now, the process for physicians to obtain long-term disability insurance benefits can often be more complicated than the process for someone who is not a medical professional. And the reason for that is that very often physicians run up against the challenge of determining whether or not a claim for disability benefits is a total disability claim or a residual disability claim. Now, the distinction is that if you're totally disabled, it means that you're unable to perform the duties of your own occupation. And if you're residually disabled, it means that you're unable to perform one or more of the duties of your regular occupation, and you have at least a 20% loss of income. Now, these definitions of disability that I am providing you with are the general definitions that usually are appearing in most of the disability policies that we see. But all the disability carriers like Mass Mutual, MetLife, Northwestern Mutual, Guardian, Berkshire, they could have little nuances in their disability policies that are different. However, at the end of the day, there is definitely a distinction between total and residual disability. And very often the disability carriers will try to say that a person is residually disabled and not totally disabled because they want to either pay a lot less money on the claim or not pay the physician at all. Now, very often, believe it or not, I speak to a lot of physicians and they say, look, Greg, when I bought the policy, I was a surgeon and I always thought that this policy was going to cover me throughout my career as a surgeon. However, if at the time you bought the policy you were doing surgery and at the time you became disabled you were no longer performing any surgeries, then your policy is not going to cover you for surgery. What that means is that if you're able to continue to do your job, but you can't do surgery, and everything you were doing before was non-surgery, then you are not going to be disabled under that policy. I'll give you another extreme example. If when you bought your policy you were a surgeon performing surgery, and 20 years later you became a painter, at the time you became disabled you were no longer able to paint, then you would be considered disabled because your policy is going to cover the occupation that you're performing at the time you became disabled. So it's very important to prove what your occupation is at the time that you become disabled and also at the time that you're claiming that you were disabled. A lot of people recently have been calling us saying, look, I switched my occupation 2 years ago or 18 months ago. And that can be a difficult situation because you have to provide reasonable notice to the disability carrier of when your disability started, and you usually have to provide that notice within 6 months to a year of you becoming disabled. Otherwise, they're only going to consider your occupation within the reasonable time period that they were given notice. So how does a disability carrier go about looking at your occupation? Well, the first thing they're going to do is request a ton of information from you, and much of that information involves your tax returns for the past 5 years, your monthly profit and loss statements potentially for the last year or 2 years, your CPT production codes or whatever you call your production reports. They're going to want to know what types of procedures were you doing on a monthly basis so that they can look at how were you spending your time every month in order to determine what your occupation was. Now, I don't get caught up a lot of times in what your production was versus what your income was, because at the end of the day, it's more important to me to look at the total picture of the production that what you were generating, spending your time doing, and where your income was coming from. Because, for example, if you were a surgeon and you're generating 90% of your income from surgery, but yet you're only spending 10% of your time in surgery and you become disabled, then what good is it if you can continue working and only make 10% of the income that you used to earn before you became disabled? So you have to look at every single case in its totality, because in the example I gave, if you could no longer have the ability to earn 90% of what you used to make, and you bought this policy to protect your income in the event you weren't able to do what you used to do, then you should get paid regardless of the fact that the disability carrier is going to try to say, well, you can still see patients and still do evaluations. That's not going to cut it in most cases. But if you're a doctor who's making 50% of your income from surgery and 50% of your income from doing office consultations, then you're going to have a real battle on your hands when it comes to collecting benefits, because if you want to continue working and not do surgery but continue to do office evaluations, I can guarantee you that the disability carrier is going to try to say that you're residually disabled. And that's where we're going to have to try to prove that you're total in order to maximize the benefits under your policy. Now, we have hundreds of references available for you from physicians that we've represented all over the country, and we're willing to provide those with you because all of these past clients have said, sure, have anyone call me who wants to know about the level of services that you offered and how your firm is able to help us. So I encourage you to contact us and ask us for those references, and we'll be happy to provide them to you. I also welcome you to go throughout our website and learn more about your specific disability insurance company, learn more about the different disabling conditions, and read about other types of cases that we've handled and other cases around the country dealing with your specific medical condition and your specific disability insurance company, so that you could be extremely educated about what this disability insurance claim process involves. Now, we always offer a free consultation. We will review your disability policy. If your claim has been denied, we will review your denial letter, and we'll let you know immediately whether or not we think we can assist you. We look forward to the opportunity to speak with you.